We have to get back to nature. The more healthy and natural products we eat, the healthier we become. Hello, this is Terry Bell with another edition of Herb Doc.
Hi, this is Nathaniel Woods, and with a special guest, Terry Bell, and I'm going to be asking him the top 5 questions that are Googled online in 2017 that most people are confused about, that they don't understand, and that they're looking to understand and their doctors haven't helped. So this was pulled from a Harvard University website, and so expert herbalist Terry Bell is going to answer our questions. Terry, number 1 question, or the number 5 question, we're going to start from 5 and work our way to the number 1. The 5th question that most people in the world or in the US are searching for is, what causes high blood pressure?
Okay, high blood pressure can be caused by a lot of things. I get a hydro bill, blood pressure's up. Your wife says no. Stress causes high blood pressure. And you know, a lot of people don't have stress because to have stress, you got to have a job. But the main one for blood pressure, if you get a kidney infection right away, well, now you're starting to hold water. And water backs up in your system, and the water eventually gets into your heart and all the way up your body. You blow up like a balloon. And it's called congestive heart failure you could die from. Or it starts driving your blood pressure up. And that's number 1. Number 2, the liver. If the liver is congested, it's the biggest filter in your body, and if it's starting to get plugged, well, now your blood pressure goes up. If your arteries or veins get plugged, and what this all comes back to is eating proper foods. If you're type A, you're going to be eating different foods than me, type O. Type O people need more meat than vegetables. Type A need more vegetables than meat. It's just like a lion. You can't feed him carrots every day and think he's going to live. It'll kill him. Same with people that go on a vegetarian diet that are type O blood. Well, there was one in our church, just dropped dead because your body can't live on it. And what happens? They get a disease where proteins start missing in their body. You got 7 proteins, one of them is missing. You don't get that back to normal, you're dead. But blood pressure, remember I said, can be caused by stress. Stress can be caused by your job, your environment, your family, your food the most. And the last one is water. Lack of water. You actually take, so what does water do for the body? It makes the blood slippery, and it also cleans the organs and glands and keeps them moving. If you don't keep your kidneys moving, your blood pressure skyrockets. That's just a few of them. I could go on for an hour, but that's the main ones.
Those are some really common things. I know a lot of people struggle with the food one.
But you said a big one on there was, what is lupus?
Yes, that was one of the other big questions.
Lupus, people don't even know what this is. Lupus, the spleen is the repair shop for blood. The blood swims through the spleen. The spleen says, oh, we're missing vitamin A, put it into the blood. The spleen is also the largest lymph node in your body. So if the spleen gets infected, now the blood flows through and says, we're missing iron. So what? It doesn't put it in, it's infected. It's busy with an infection or sick, so it can't do its function. And when the spleen gets sick and can't do its function, you end up with lupus. That's where lupus comes from, according to the herbalists and according to Dr. Versendahl. That's where it comes from. But just imagine this, if your blood's dirty and you can't clean it, that's where lupus comes from.
Oh, wow. That's going to help a lot of people, I'm sure, understand that one. So the next most asked question on the Harvard website of people Googling was how do you lower your cholesterol?
See, there's a big lie that we've been told forever. Cholesterol, they want it at 4.3. LDL, just think of lousy cholesterol. That's the cholesterol before it goes into the liver and filtered. HDL is healthy cholesterol. That's after it's gone through the liver and filtered. Now they take those two numbers and add them together, and they want it to come to between 4.3 and 5.3, okay? But in other countries, if I'm 68, my perfect cholesterol is 6.8. If I'm 90, it's 9.0. It goes up because if cholesterol goes down as you get older, those are people who get Alzheimer's because you need cholesterol. So if you don't need cholesterol, you don't need brains. The second part I noticed, when they started lowering their cholesterol more and more, they ended up with cancer. So people need to watch. Your cholesterol's high. Go out in the sun. The sun hits your pupil. The pupil tells the pituitary, tell vitamin D, get the minerals. But the sun hits the skin and turns cholesterol to vitamin D. And they tell you, don't have vitamin D. You don't need more than 1,000 a day. Well, that's going to do nothing. You need a minimum of 4,000 a day. But Health Canada says here more than 2 people are going to be in trouble or worried about you. We're giving you Oxycontin now, but we're really worried about vitamin D. So you can see how much of it is all political. They don't want too many people around. Like Health Canada, Sean Buckley said it right, has nothing to do with health. It's all got to do with money. But cholesterol, just think of that. Cholesterol, the sun hits your skin and turns cholesterol into vitamin D. So it's not a bad thing, it's a positive thing.
Oh, wow.
So now you know about cholesterol.
Yeah, thank you. And the number 2 question, this one makes sense, that people are Googling and looking up every day, millions of searches online, was, Terry, why am I so tired?
Tired can be caused by a couple of things. Okay, the first thing you check when somebody's tired, their iron in their body. If the iron is low in the body, they're tired in the day. If the iron is low in their blood, called ferritin, that's people that fall asleep at the wheel and fall asleep during the day, and they're falling asleep all over every time they move. And the third one is, it's called invisible iron. It's in the brain from the Japanese, and that's the people who fall asleep at the television or in front of the computer. They'll all of a sudden conk out, or a video machine, and that's where you shouldn't fall asleep if you're gambling. But that's 3 different types of iron. Makes you sleep, makes you tired, makes you weak if your iron is low. Because iron is charged positive and it pulls oxygen in that's negative and makes you healthy. The biggest one, though, even bigger than iron, is your thyroid. People have a thyroid problem. They're taking a thyroid pill, and I test them and their thyroid's still only working 50%. So they think the thyroid's helping you. It's not. And remember I said about the thyroid? Thyroid creates all the power in the body. It's like your battery, your alternator. That's what it is in your body. And if it's beat and tired from radiation, from eating wrong foods, every time you eat a wrong food, the thyroid has to produce more power to try and get it out of it. You're playing yourself out. Thyroid. The next one would be your lungs. So lungs, remember you have 5 pouches, 3 on this side and 2 on the other side. 1 is missing to make room for the heart. Now, if the lung isn't going in and out, like an accordion, it's not working. There's different types of lung problems. There's sleep apnea, okay? That's people who stop breathing in their sleep. 3 types of sleep apnea. There's sleep apnea in the brain, and in the lungs, and then the flapper in the back of the throat. 3 different types of sleep apnea. You say, you got sleep apnea, it's not showing up, they check the lungs. Don't listen to that. There's 3 types, and any one of them can make you so horribly tired you fall asleep. I had people just come right in. While I'm testing them, fall asleep. How tired is that? You could get tired just from one more thing, like I just said. Your brain is tired. And if your brain is tired from looking at one of these screens all day, and here's what's happening. Kids have these little pads, and they're looking at these screens all day, and it's hitting them with a blue light, a false blue light. Like in the morning, if you go out in the morning, the sun hits you. You should go out 15 minutes before 10 in the morning. Just sit there, have a cup of coffee. If you're a health freak, water, okay, or juice. But some people think coffee is no good. Coffee, I found that a lot of people, it perks them up in the day and makes them go to the bathroom. So if it does that, their body needs it. 10 minutes, the sun hits your pupil, pupil tells the pituitary, tell vitamin D, get the minerals, and the body starts to work. When they come inside, this is called the blue light, and what it does, it fools the body into thinking at night, what are you doing going to bed? You should be getting up. So in the morning when you're getting up, it says, oh, you should be going to bed. It does the opposite. So all the lights we've had, and especially LED lights are pulsating, they make you tired and tired. And the more you're inside, the more tired you get. Tired because everybody's working inside, they're on their computer, they're on their cell phone, they're watching TV. There's not much left for the kids to do, right? They just go from TV to iPad to cell phone, okay? Nothing to do with outside in the sun. That's the main reason they're tired. You're tired now just telling you that, eh?
Oh, just trying to keep up. No. That's really insightful, and I'm just taking it in. I know a lot of kids that way, going back and forth to the screens, and I know that I feel the best. I just spent 4 days out in the Redwood National Park down in California, and every morning I woke up with the sun and I felt refreshed. I felt stronger. I felt more energy. And I wasn't inside around the lights. I wasn't looking at everything. So I can feel what you're talking about is true. Especially, it's clearer when I'm outside in nature.
Also, they found a tribe of Indians that live in the mountains, Huns and Titicaca, and they live to the average age of 140. Not in this country. This country live to 111. They think it's a big deal. And they're still healthy. But they get up with the sun, they live in the mountains, go to bed with the sun, and live by the campfire. So they're not getting the lights we are. Now, for me, for real, I don't want to live in the mountains, shit in the woods, bathe in the creek, and then I got to live another 60 years longer with that miserable cold and weather. Forget it. I'll just go out in the sun and live in the city and die a few years early. It won't feel like I lived forever.
Okay.
Next question.
So that actually leads to the next one, and then there's, which is the number one question that people are looking up online. There's millions of views, or millions of people asking for this question is, what causes my hiccups?
Hiccups. Now, hiccups isn't a negative thing. You see, if something went wrong in the liver, there's 4 parts to the liver. Somebody drinks, you hear that, eh? And they drank a little too fast. Mm-hmm. They drank a little too much, and the liver can't keep up. You eat a little too fast and you start going, and the only way you can put it back on track is to take a drink of water. Now, if it gets extreme, like somebody cannot stop hiccuping, then you have to do reflexology on their feet, and it stops it. Another one is you press a pressure point on their back, find the knot, and it'll stop it. But it is triggered by the liver. And what it does, it puts the heart back in time with the rest of the body. So it's actually needed in the system. You knock the timing out by eating too fast. And eating too fast, I'm like that. I sit down, my wife will not allow me to answer the phone at the door. She actually put a sign on the door one time. No visitors from 6 to 7 were eating. Thank you. Goodbye. Because I would rush and I'd start hiccuping and choking because I was knocking my body off of time. I'm not eating and chewing my food 30 times. Mm-hmm. I'm telling people that, but there's somebody waiting for an appointment and I'm panicking. So hiccups, that's where it comes from.
Do we have time for one more? So this one was a really good question too, that was right along the lines of tired. So it's natural that people are wanting to know, but what can I do to stop snoring? Snoring.
Snoring is caused by 3 types of apnea, sleep apnea it's called, just like I mentioned earlier. One is in the brain. The cylinder goes back and forth. One is the flapper at the throat, and the other one is the lungs. But stop snoring, that means you have to get your lungs to go all the way out and all the way in like an accordion. And most people are just going in and out shortly, and they're breathing like a kid that just ran up and he was looking for water. And instead of breathing all the way into your stomach and out, and you start getting a better breathing pattern. People that snore, I tell them, go for a walk in a day. How many blocks? 5 blocks, 2.5 there, 2.5 back. Just go for a walk. They said, what does that do? After the 3rd block, it puts your body in time. Your body's actually out of time while you're snoring. And out of time, it means, that's why people take ginkgo and hawthorn. It puts the rhythm of the heart in time with the rest of the body. Because if it isn't, you're chugging along like in a car out of time, it's making you tired. And it starts putting all the organs working together in sync. The other night I had a walk. My cab didn't come pick me up. Waited half an hour, so I walked. So I walked all the way home. On the way, halfway home, I thought, oh, I'm getting out of wind. I shouldn't be. So I'm going to start walking again. Start walking. First of all, you start burping, then you start farting. Because if you have anything undigested in your body and you start walking, the blood starts moving in that area and it gets everything digesting. And by the time you get home, you have to use the bathroom. Hopefully you can get home because there's only so many bushes you can go behind on the way. But that's how much of a difference it made just having one walk. Have it 3 days in a row and you say, wow, do I feel good? Because walking forces electricity, forces blood movement, and forces the organs and glands to work together. So if you want to stop snoring, start walking and watch the difference in what happens. I tell people that and say, how come the snoring stopped? Because you're walking, you're exercising now.
Wow. That is incredible. So next time I invite you for a walk, you won't decline?
No, I won't. I'll pass you in the cab. Okay. But
there is one more if we have time. This one was in the top 10, but it's not the top 5. Terry, what causes kidney stones?
Kidney stones. Okay, here's the first one. The first one. Calcium and magnesium mix with vitamin D. And calcium and magnesium work together. One goes tightens and one goes, that's your bowel, tightening and pulling. Every organ in and out to function. Calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. Now if you eat sweets, sweets eat your magnesium. Now calcium tightens you up and it becomes a hard ball. But also the body's calling and looking for calcium and it can't find and starts taking it from your bones and all over, and halfway there it realizes it's not good calcium, so it deposits it in the kidney, the gallbladder, or the pancreas. The worst one ever, you would think, was the kidney, because if you're not dead, you'll wish you were. Gallbladder also knocks you to your feet, but the pancreas, it's called pancreatitis, and blocks that, it'll kill you.
Wow.
My wife, at Christmas, I don't test my wife. My son does. Because she, halfway through, she'd be telling me what to do. Okay, so I don't. So I get my son. He tests her, and she had a horrible pain in her stomach. So I just went over and said, you got gallstones. How do I get rid of them? A glass of ruby red grapefruit at 3 o'clock in the day. That's all you have to do, every day. What if you can't have ruby red if you're on pills? Yes, you have lemon juice. Now take that, and if you take an ounce of olive oil with it before or after, it'll start knocking the stones out of there. Other people do it this way. They don't have nothing to eat at supper. Then they take an ounce of olive oil, ounce of lemon juice, or ruby red grapefruit juice. Every 15 minutes for 3 hours instead of supper. Then next morning they take a tablespoon of sea salt and a quart of water, drink it, go about their day. And all of a sudden peas starts coming out the back, and that's little gallstones, little green peas. A lady came in with a jar of 600. Her stomach went from here down to there. Gallstones. But you could do it the easy way. If you like ruby red grapefruit or lemon, 1 glass at 3 o'clock in the day, because 3 to 5 the bladder and kidney eat and they go to the bathroom. So it'll go right to the kidney and clean it out. And then she took the olive oil, my wife, in a few days, I haven't heard about those gallstones since. You know, and that's how fast it comes out of you. You can take the stones out of you. You can take the ache, pains out of your feet with that remedy. And it's easy. An ounce of olive oil, ounce of lemon juice, every 15 minutes for 3 hours instead of supper. Then a tablespoon of sea salt in water next morning, in a quart of water, drink it and go about your day, and all of them will start coming out. A lot of people have told me that. Nice to have you. And you're from the United States, California?
Yes.
I'd just like to tell you we're rooting for you over in the Middle East. Because if you get a licking, we better start learning to talk Chinese or we'll be getting a beating. Thank you very much, and see you again, Terry Bell.